Mockingjay Part 2. Which part do you think it is? Hi everyone, my name's Jason. I'm here to review The Hunger Games, The Mockingjay Part 2. But before I do, like always, if you've not seen the film and you've seen all the others and you've not read the book and you really want to go and see the film, I suggest you press stop here and come back later. If you've read the book and you don't want any spoilers, well, don't worry about it, because the film is the book is the film. They really haven't deviated from the book at all here, so you're not going to be spoiled. The Hunger Games, The Mockingjay Part 2 follows Katniss on her ultimate journey to get into the capital and to kill Snow. We all know that that's the mission, and that's what we're treated to. Now, before we start, I'd just like to say I like this film. It's not a bad film. It's not a great film, it has plenty of flaws, but it's still a good film. So, yeah, for the first 20 minutes, 30 minutes maybe in this movie, I actually thought to myself, this ain't bad. This is not a bad movie. I'm not falling asleep. It's keeping me alert. It must be okay then. And as soon as I said that, I had to pull myself up off the chair every 5 minutes and try and stop falling asleep. I think the biggest problem of this movie was that it was part of one book. I'm a bit confused at that. And hold on a second, I'll try and explain where I'm coming from. When they first said they were going to take the Mockingjay book and split it into two, I thought, oh no. Didn't work for the Hobbit series. And I don't feel it worked here for this Hunger Games series. Kind of. The reason I say that is because I really liked the first Mockingjay movie. I thought it was very good. I liked the more in-depth structure of the characters. I appreciated that we saw more of the war rather than the Hunger Games. And I liked that change. And it was a nice change from having two Hunger Games films to go into more of a war scenario. Now, I don't know if reading the book helps me enjoy it more than most of my friends, but I read the book on purpose and I then reacted to the movie and I thought, yeah, I really liked that. I liked it so much that I would personally put it up on top of a pedestal with the other two. And I'd say, yeah, it's as good as those movies. Sometimes I like it better. I know not everyone agrees with me there. I know a lot of people actually didn't like it. That being said, The Mockingjay 2 does not follow suit. It's a good film. It's a good finish to the series. It completes the journey of Katniss and many of the other characters. But it doesn't do it in a great way. It does it in an okay way. There's moments in this film where you just think to yourself, yeah, you can see where they're shoving stuff in there and fattening it out just so it would last. I mean, a good example of scenes that I felt were irrelevant in this movie, but they could have been so much more relevant in other previous movies. And again, I have to explain myself. I thought I'd do an experiment when The Hunger Games come out. A lot of people who read the books were like, really good book, but isn't a great movie. It's okay, they were saying. It's just not great. And I was like, but I loved it. Why didn't they like it? Was it because they read the books? And that intrigued me. So I went out and read the books and watched the other films. Now, after watching the first film for The Hunger Games and reading the book and going back to it, I did notice a couple of scenes where I was thinking they could have fleshed them out, 2 or 3 more minutes extra time, extra footage, and that would have really increased the emotional value of these movies. There's a scene where Peeta's in the rain, he's got a piece of bread, it's burnt, and he's about to throw it to the pigs. He looks around, sees Katniss there, he looks around again, thinks about throwing it to the pigs, looks to see if anyone's in the shop, probably his mother or someone. And then when no one's looking, he quite quickly throws it towards her. In Mockingjay, there's a scene where they waste some time by telling you that Peeta had burnt the bread on purpose to give it to Katniss. Kind of not what I saw in the movie of The Hunger Games originally, but what I read in the books. Now that scene would have been much more prominent and much more valuable if they'd have put it in the Hunger Games original movie, originally. The Mockingjay Part 2 seems to flesh out moments and make them a bit too long where it should have just cut things off. And to me that really, really affected the pacing of the movie. Don't get me wrong, The Mockingjay's a lot of great moments in there. It's riveting at times. It's just, you get into some big action scene and suddenly it tempers down and suddenly there's something shoved in there and then there's something else shoved in there and have a little bit more something and then another great scene. I wanted to see more from the other actors. I did. I wanted to see more from, you know, some of the other Hunger Game people. I also wanted to see a bigger film. I wanted to see all the districts fighting. I didn't really get to see that. Katniss was put in a group of people, shoved at the back of all the fighting, so by the time you've got two the areas you got to, they'd already had the fighting. That kind of made the film feel a bit too small, a bit confined to me. And all the time I was thinking, well, if they're behind the people, then surely all the traps would have been set off. But they weren't, there were still traps there. Don't get me wrong, that's a small point, but still it's a point that I felt I had. One of the key things is the ending to this film. It's something you all know in the books. In the film, it's not really the ending, there is an extra 10 minutes, but we'll ignore that. We'll pretend that doesn't exist for this moment. And you all know what it is if you've read the books. And if you haven't read the books, this is a great time to leave, because in about 10 seconds I'm spoiling it for you. 5, 4, 3, 2, 1, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. I can't count. I can't count. At the end of the movie, or what I think should have been the end of the movie, was, you know, Katniss is there, she's agreed with Coin that she's the one that's going to be killing Snow in front of all the districts in the big area of Panem. She gets out a bow, she pulls it, she looks down at Snow, lifts up in a second, lets go and kills Coin. And we know why she's doing it. She's doing it to get revenge on all the Panem people. And there's even people within the districts that agree to this. Not Katniss. That's why she kills Coin. And I get it, I understand that. But it wasn't a surprise. And I mean, I say that because, yes, I've read the book. Yes, the book gave away the ending because it was written exactly like the film was written, like the book was written, like blah, blah, blah. But the truth is, even if I hadn't seen this book, they put it so far down your face, they make it so obvious that something like this is going to happen. I mean, 40 minutes, 50 minutes prior, when Katniss joins this team of, hand-picked people that are going to take her into the city, and her film crew, they're going to be behind the action. So there's going to be less risk of them getting hurt, and it's going to be filmed for propaganda purposes. But hey, Coin decides to stick in Peeta, the guy that tried to kill Katniss. So, so it's obvious that Coin isn't too worried about her safety. And then shortly after that scene, we have another scene where one of the main characters of that group dies. As he's dying now, with Katniss looking over, he's like, don't trust Coin. She's not nice. She wants you dead because she wants to be the president. Okay, there you go. That's pretty much spelling out that Coin is not a nice person. So I kind of think they spoon-fed a bit too much information to you. And I think it was moments like that that led this film down a little bit. The two things I really liked about Mockingjay were two characters. And that was Josh's Peeta. Brilliant. I loved the way they developed him. I loved the way he was fighting with himself all the time to try not to kill Katniss. I liked the way he killed one of their team members and knew it was wrong and felt bad and wanted to die. He wanted a pill. He wanted to shove it down his neck and go because he was scared of what he would do. I liked that. I liked how much they showed it. I appreciated that kind of aspect from his character. And he was a highlight of this movie. But then so was Hoffman. Yeah, I couldn't believe it. I didn't expect to see Hoffman in this film because we know he died. But he was in this film enough for me to say his presence was felt. It was. Out of all the scenes I saw, I think I only saw one CGI scene. I could be wrong, but the last scene where he turns his head, that to me was CGI. But it was well done. It was well done to the extent of, yeah. And he felt like he was part of the whole film. He didn't feel like he was there at the beginning because he did those scenes and then he disappeared. He felt as if Hoffman was part of the film. For that, completely respect all the directors and writers there. They did a great job of that. Really did. The crescendo of this movie should have been Katniss shooting the arrow. Coin falling to the ground, dying. Looking back at Katniss. Katniss looking at Coin. Coin dying dead. Katniss back to the camera, full face, smile, fade to black, cue Katniss singing the Mockingjay music from Mockingjay 1. That would have done it for me. That would have been a great ending. We didn't need a scene with a tiger dressed up like a cat. I mean, that was a... What was that? It wasn't a cat, surely not. It was huge. It was a tiger, I guarantee it. No, maybe a CGI, but it's a tiger. And then you had Peeta picking up a flower. It's Primrose. Oh, come on. How could it get any worse? I'll tell you how. Second Star Wars movie, picnic in the fields, two kids running by. Oh, The last 10 minutes of this film was terrible. I hope when they bring the Blu-ray out they just decide to, I'll tell you what, let's do what the fans say, let's cut it out, let's leave it out where it belongs. It doesn't need to be in the movie, it's irrelevant. Yes, I had moments where I was like, ugh. That being said, I still enjoyed the movie. Hunger Games Mockingjay Part 1 was a reason why you could split a book, in my opinion, and do this. Because it was good. I liked it. It was different. It was a nice tone and I got an extra movie. Mockingjay Part 2 was the reason why you don't split the book. It's not worth it. Personally, I'd have rather seen a 3.5, 4 hour movie of the two mixed together and made into a more substantial movie. And I'd have sat in the cinema for that. I'd rather not, because I don't like long movies like that, but I'd rather have had that than the two separate movies that we have today. It's still a movie you should go and see in the cinema. It's still worthwhile in your box set. It's just not as worthwhile as it could have been. Mockingjay Part 2. Have you seen it? Did you like it? Did you hate it? What could they have done to make it better? Do you think they should have kept it as one book? Or do you think they were right in splitting it into two? Tell me what you think. Tell me in the comments below. I'd love to hear. And if you like my channel, help me out loads by subscribing and by liking the video if you liked it. If you didn't like it, then dislike it.